Peacemaker Season 2 releases very soon and will be the DCU's first ever live-action season of TV, which is unusual because it's a second season of a show. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this, but Peacemaker's 2 seasons take place in 2 completely different franchises, which can lead to a lot of confusion. In this video, I'll try my best to clear up that confusion while going over every character returning from Peacemaker Season 1, every newly introduced character, and then what parts of their previous roles are canon, because while Season 1 takes place in an alternate universe, it is mostly canon. Make sure to subscribe and become a member in the noble tier or above for early access to videos. Leave a like, and let's begin. The titular character, Peacemaker, or Chris Smith, is played by John Cena, who is reprising his role as basically the same character who appeared in the Suicide Squad in Peacemaker Season 1, and then the same character who appeared in Cameos and Creature Commandos in Superman, making him the most recurring hero in the DCU. Like in the DCEU, Chris has the same backstory of being raised by a genius supervillain father who forced him to fight his brother, leading to an accidental death. As an adult, he became Peacemaker, acquired and trained in Eagle, befriended Vigilante against his will, and then was eventually arrested, used as a Suicide Squad member, killed Rick Flag, and then let out on condition of one last mission known as Project Butterfly. He killed his father and stopped the Butterfly invasion. At this point, he's free and is friends with Vigilante, Leota Adebayo, and Johnny Canos. He's in love with Amelia Harcourt, who might not love him back, and he seeks to be taken seriously by the superhero community, but is rejected by Maxwell Lord and his Justice Gang right in the beginning in episode 1, despite the fact that he helped stop an alien invasion. Aside from dealing with not being taken seriously, Chris will be hunted down by Rick Flag Sr. and seeks a better world in the alternate dimensions accessed through his father's quantum unfolding storage area. Apparently, there are 100 alternate dimensions. Augie Smith, aka the White Dragon, is played by Robert Patrick and was the evil Nazi genius supervillain father of Peacemaker. The previous season ended with Peacemaker seeing his father as an illusion. We haven't seen that particular element shown in trailers. All we know is that Robert Patrick is appearing in the season, but that can't just be as his alternate dimension counterpart, as well as maybe flashbacks. I think he will probably appear as an illusion early on, but Chris will probably just get over that, and from then on out, only the pocket dimension version will appear. We'll get back to it. Eagly is voiced by D. Bradley Baker, previously appearing only in Peacemaker Season 1. He's Peacemaker's expertly trained pet who seems to be more intelligent than the typical Eagle. In this season, Eagly will have his own nemesis, a man named Red St. Wild, who will try to hunt him down. Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante, is played by Freddie Stroma, whose DCEU counterpart previously appeared in Peacemaker Season 1, while this version cameoed in Cersei's vision in Creature Commandos. A bit of a psychopath, Vigilante considers Peacemaker to be his best friend and partner in crime fighting. He works as a busboy at a restaurant during the day and fights crime at night. In Season 2, Vigilante is said to be the one character who has not changed, neither progressed or regressed. He's the exact same, aside from one thing. He was, in Season 1, obsessed with Peacemaker. Now he's going to be obsessed with Peacemaker and Johnny Canos as his 2 male best friends. But aside from that, he's the exact same. And honestly, if any character remains the exact same, I'm glad it's Vigilante. He was pretty much already a perfect character. Vigilante's mother appears, played by Taylor St. Clair. It seems like he's going to have a great mom who's just very kind, and maybe one who sanctions Vigilante's buffoonery, maybe explaining how he's able to afford his suit and gadgets on a busboy salary. Johnny Canos is played by Steve Agee, whose DCEU counterpart previously appeared in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker Season 1, alongside an entirely non-canon appearance in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This version made his debut in Creature Commando Season 1, appearing in 3 episodes and having an actual substantial role, where his leg is broken because of the events of Peacemaker Season 1. Johnny Canos was a staff member at Belle Reve who helped revolt against Waller to help the Suicide Squad. He was punished for this by being sent to work at Project Butterfly. There he befriended the other members and sorta helped stop the invasion, breaking his leg along the way. He then went back to work at Belle Reve, where he got entangled into the Pokolastani plot accompanying Waller, and she made some big revelations regarding Clayface and Ilana Rostovic. By Season 2, Johnny Canos has moved out from Belle Reve into working full-time at Argus under Rick Flag Sr., setting up a conflict for him as he's working for the man hunting down one of his best friends. Canos has also been confirmed to be returning in Waller, making him the single most recurring character in the DCU, with the same amount of appearances that Peacemaker has, but none of them are cameos. Amelia Harcourt is played by Jennifer Holland. Her DCEU counterpart previously appeared in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker Season 1, alongside entirely non-canon appearances in Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Like Economos, she was a Belle Reve staff member, revolted against Waller to help the squad, was punished with Project Butterfly, and then befriended the other members. Now she's dealing with the aftermath aftermath of Leota Adebayo unveiling the Suicide Squad to the world, this led to Harcourt and Leota both being blacklisted from all intelligence agencies in the United States. This has apparently hit Harcourt really hard. She lost her job and her career, and because that was her whole identity, she lost her entire identity. Because of this, she will have a tiny bit of a rocky relationship with Leota, while she also rejects the advances of Chris, and generally speaking has, according to James Gunn, regressed as a character since season 1. Leota Adebayo, originally Leota Waller before taking her wife's name, is played by Danielle Brooks and previously appeared in Peacemaker season 1 only. She was given a job by her mother at Project Butterfly despite being unqualified. She befriended the others, with Peacemaker even considering her to be his best human friend. She then revealed the existence of the Suicide Squad to the world, outing her mother and shutting that operation down, making her directly responsible for the existence of the Creature Commandos. In season 2, Leota is also blacklisted from all intelligence agencies, but is now trying to create her own mercenary business, and it's not going well. Leota will then also appear in Waller, her mother's show. Leota's wife is Kia Adebayo, played by Elizabeth Ludlow, previously appearing only in season 1, in which she just acted as Leota's caring spouse as they went through money trouble and dealing with her wife getting deeper into her job. Now she's working as a barista at Jitters, like Iris West and the Arrowverse Hawkgirl before her. Judo Master, now officially named Rip Jagger like the comics, is played by Nut Lee and previously appeared in Peacemaker season 1, and this version in Cersei's Vision in Creature Commandos. His origins are unknown, but he previously worked with the Butterflies to help them save the world from becoming an inhospitable planet. Now, yet again, he's working as a non-villainous antagonist, as he works for Argus, seemingly helping track Peacemaker down. Along the way, teaming up with a former enemy, John Economos. Like in season 1, he's a recurring character, not a main character. The one new addition to the main cast, alongside Peacemaker, Vigilante, Leota Adebayo, Amelia Harcourt, and John Economos, is Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. Flag previously appeared as one of the main characters in Creature Commandos and a small role in Superman. He's the father of Rick Flag Jr., who was killed by Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad. In Superman, we see that Flo Crawley is the director of Argus. It's possible she'll appear here, we don't know yet, but I think what's happening here is that Flag will take over as director right as the events of this season starts, and as he does, he'll learn all of Waller's old secrets. In Creature Commandos, Waller tells Flag that his son died a hero. In reality, that's not exactly what happened. Waller was technically responsible for his death, so obviously Waller wouldn't tell him all the details, or even any of them, so I think he'll learn the information at the beginning of the season, and that's what will kick off the season's plot. A plot that involves interdimensional portals, and somehow Argus will get involved in that. After this, Flag will also appear in Waller. We see an image of Colonel Rick Flag Jr., played by Joel Kinnaman in the trailer, officially confirming that casting remains true in the DCU. This image hints that Joel Kinnaman might have filmed some secret scenes for this season, maybe a flashback interaction between him and his father, or maybe as a part of the alternate dimension where he never died. At the very least, his primary role is clear: motivation for his father. For anyone who didn't watch Creature Commandos, we learned there that Flag Sr. had his son when he was just 18 years old, mostly explaining the small age gap between the two actors of just 14 years. I guess it makes sense. Finally, a newly introduced character, Sasha Bordeaux, will be played by Sol Rodriguez. In the comics, Sasha Bordeaux originated as a bodyguard for Bruce Wayne before becoming primarily used as a high-ranking official at Checkmate and in OMAC Cybernetics Enhanced Cyborg. Later, she became the director of Argus. In the DCU, Checkmate doesn't exist as far as we could tell, but Sasha will be an agent of Argus working closely with Rick Flag, mostly likely going after Peacemaker. I think Sasha will be sticking around for a while, being used whenever Argus is, probably on Waller. Gunn mentioned that he wanted a metahuman tinge to an Argus agent, suggesting that she will have her comic book cybernetics. Langston Fleury is another Argus agent making his debut here. He is played by Tim Meadows and, unlike Sasha, is an original character created for the show. Based on the trailer and based on the actor, I think he'll be used entirely for comedic effect, while contrasting with Sasha, who's a lot more serious. I also don't think he'll survive the season, like how almost every single original character from season 1 also did not survive. He's working with a few field agents under his command, who all have codenames he came up with, and who are all almost certainly original characters too. Titties, played by Inessa Matlock, Encino Man, played by Dorian Kingi, Pony Boy, played by Brandon Stanley, and Mexicali, played by Reynaldo Faberel. The antagonist of the season won't just be Argus agents, but also a few comic book or comic booky villains. I say comic booky because this first character is not from the comics, but it is definitely a character who feels like he is. Red St. Wild is played by Michael Rooker and will act as the nemesis to Eagly. Red St. Wild is apparently the greatest eagle hunter in the world, out on a mission to hunt down the most well-trained eagle in the world, and he'll be working with Argus to do so. What's interesting is that he seems to wear some sort of Native American clothing, but also he has some sort of superpower that creates energy. There are characters like that in the comics, like Apache Chief or Manitou Raven, but I don't think that has any connection to this character. So we don't know much about this guy, a creepy looking four-eyed alien or monster who randomly appeared in the behind the scenes footage. Maybe a white Martian, but unlikely. He's gray and he has four eyes, maybe a demonite, gray villains with four eyes from the Wildstorm universe, but maybe also it could be an imp, since James Gunn mentioned that we'll be seeing imps in the season after talking about how he'd like to adapt Batmite, or at the very least a Peacemaker version of Batmite. We saw one imp in Superman who was very different from the famous imps like Mr. Mxyzptlk or Batmite, but also looks completely different from this guy, so maybe not. Jaina Hudson, aka the White Rabbit, is a Batman villain appearing this season played by Brie Noel. In the comics, she has no origin and has the ability to duplicate herself into two beings, her normal self, Jaina Hudson, and the White Rabbit. In season 1, it was mentioned that Peacemaker fought Kite Man in the past. White Rabbit could be a similar situation. Batman has such a large rogues gallery that moving some of the lesser known ones who don't really need to be Batman villains, like Kite Man or White Rabbit, to other heroes' rogues galleries who desperately need them, like Peacemaker, I think makes a lot of sense. As of now, we haven't gotten a good look at her, but I highly doubt her costume will be exactly like the comics. I'm not sure that will translate directly to live action. A huge surprise from the first trailer was the appearance of the Justice Gang in a direct connection to Superman, as this show takes place just 1 month later. Sean Gunn appears as Maxwell Lord, the CEO of Lord Tech and the manager of the Justice Gang, in his second appearance, but his first one that isn't just a cameo. Nathan Fillion appears as Guy Gardner, aka the Green Lantern, and Isabella Merced appears as Kendra Saunders, aka Hawkgirl, both in their second appearances as well, plus a third appearance as a cameo in Creature Commandos, wearing the same suits from Superman. Guy and Kendra seem to have remained assholes as they reject Peacemaker from the Justice Gang. They were inspired by Superman in Superman, but not exactly enough to change who they are. This scene indicates that the Justice Gang are actively trying to expand their ranks. With Metamorpho, they kind of just stumbled upon a hero who they added to their ranks, but now they're actively looking for members. I think it'll also be revealed in a fun moment that the events of Peacemaker Season 1's finale were slightly different. We'll see a previously on segment where instead of the Justice League showing up, it'll be the Justice Gang. That way, James Gunn was able to get these actors from the set of Superman to shoot a scene or two for the first episode of Peacemaker, and only the first episode, and that's all they need to do to both connect this movie to Superman and have this feel more like an interconnected universe, but also seamlessly connect this to the DCU rather than the DCEU. As for Mr. Terrific, it seems he had better things to do, but it is entirely possible that he will also appear. Also connecting to Superman, in the behind-the-scenes shots of Peacemaker, we could see Terrence Rossmore, who plays Otis Berg, as well as Stephen Blakeheart, who plays Sidney Hamperson, both employees of Lex's, appearing in Superman. This might mean that Planet Watch is a part of the story in some way. Maybe Lex will even have a cameo. It's also entirely possible that this behind-the-scenes footage was actually from the set of Superman, because Rick Flag also appears there. He was just talking about Peacemaker, which he was filming at the same time, or around the same time, but I think what's a lot more likely is that these two characters are appearing in Peacemaker. If they are, that makes 5 characters from Superman already, but there's actually another character officially confirmed. James Gunn confirmed that the man Peacemaker and Lex Luthor had interviews with in Superman, the Sphere News host Clevis Thornwhite, played by Michael Ian Black, will be making an appearance, likely only on the television, but maybe as a part of the story, like he was in Superman. But aside from all of this, Gunn also confirmed that there will be a few other, or at least one big appearance from Superman that we don't know about. To me, this sounds like it means one of the main characters like Superman, Lois, or Lex, and since his assistants are appearing, Lex is certainly the most likely. Then again, there is a behind-the-scenes photo of Daniel Brooks and David Cornsweet together, and Cornsweet is in the Superman costume. Now, the two projects did film at the same time, so it could just be a set visit, but it can also be a cameo that David filmed for Peacemaker. Maybe Superman himself is the big cameo, in which case, that would be insane and absolutely perfect. And finally, the alternate dimensions. The primary focus of this season will involve Peacemaker using the quantum unfolding storage area created by his father to access alternate dimensions, of which there will be 100. One of these dimensions is a hellish landscape with a huge skull spider. Whoa. Another dimension will actually include a vampire version of Peacemaker, but the primary dimension that we'll be visiting is Peacemaker's perfect universe. One where his family is alive and intact, he's together with Harcourt seemingly, he's a famous and beloved hero, and arguably even has a cooler costume and definitely has better gadgets and vehicles. For this alternate dimension, all the actors who play these characters in the regular dimension play them here as well. This is the alternate Peacemaker. This is Peacemaker's father, the White Dragon, who in this world wears a blue and white suit rather than red and white, and this third character is one we see in a mural and very briefly in the trailer, is likely Keith Smith. Keith Smith is Chris Smith's brother, who in our universe died, but in this perfect world it would make a lot of sense that he never killed his brother, and so he is also alive. Beyond that, David Denman was also cast for this season, but his character has not been confirmed. He's the one actor in the season who has been cast, but we don't know who he's playing. I believe that he is playing Keith Smith and this superhero. He might have a completely original name, but I think it'd be really cool if Gunn found some obscure character in the comics that he could change the real name of, which is exactly what he did with the White Dragon. At some point, our Peacemaker will figure out what's wrong with this world, how it's not as perfect as he thought, or maybe how his world is more fitting for him. And so that is it. This season is looking to be absolutely insane with a lot of cool concepts, a lot of new characters, and DCU and Superman connections. And with how good season 1 was, I'm definitely looking forward to season 2. Let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to, and thanks for watching.